Hey, welcome. I know it's been a really long time since I've been on here with a video. Oh boy, I've got lots of ideas, but there's just wasn't enough time to get on here and share them with you. Anyways, I'm back and hopefully it won't be as long of a break in between. Tonight I am sharing with you our DIY Christmas tree kits. So this is a sample of one of them here. I'm going to show you some close-ups. You can see some of them on that side of me and then some of them on this side of me. So there's 4 different sizes. You get to choose the sizes that you want. So we've got a 24-inch and an 18-inch. That's actually what I'm holding here. A 12-inch and an 8-inch. So let me pull this guy up too so you can see how he looks. I'm gonna bring him nice and close to you. So he's got a real cool like burlap look to him. And you can see he's got some browns and grays in him. These are double-sided and this side is more just the grays. So you could do them up all one color. You can do a totally different color as well to fit your decor. I actually really liked this set with the browns and the grays mixed. So I did one side brown and just like I showed you, and then the other side is a mixture of gray and brown. And I'm going to show you exactly how I achieved that. And then there is different tags that you get to choose from. There's Noel, Peace, and Joy. These are just cut, like this is vinyl. So if you wanted different words on them and you have a cricket or a silhouette, you could cut your own words to go on them, but they do come with. The 12-inch and the 18-inch, they both come with bases. So a dowel and a base. I would glue this in. Some of them fit nice and tight and you don't have to, but I would still glue them in just to be on the safe side. Okay, so I think that is it for those guys. This one, I'm gonna bring him up closer. You can kind of see he's got like a swirly kind of texture on him. So more of a simpler, maybe a more modern decor. And then these guys more, maybe like a more chic decor, right? Or somebody who likes fancier things. These ones I embellished with a little greenery and like some little gold balls. In the kits, you will get your tag, your words. You'll get some jute. If you want to change it up for yarn, you can. I just wanted to show you a different way. And the greenery and the little balls will really depend on supply. So they may be silver balls, they might be red balls, white balls, and then you guys can choose what you want like at home if you want to change it up and you got your own stuff. Okay, again, double-sided. This is the same color on both sides. So if you were like putting a display in your dining room table, then you could see both sides. Or if even on a coffee table, if you have one of the smaller ones on in a coffee table setting, you want to be able to see both sides. I want to show you this little guy because he's gray. It's hard to kind of see, but he's gray on that side. And so somebody might like that. It's kind of a mottled gray. So somebody might like that as well. Did I already say that the 18-inch and the 24-inch come with bases? And we are now, this one isn't drilled, but we are going to offer optional bases for the small trees. So it's not on the website yet, but by the time you guys are seeing this video, it'll be on there, so everything will be fine-tuned. You also get the textured paper. That this is a textured wallpaper. So you're gonna get 2 sheets so that you can cut and put them onto your trees. Okay, so I think that was it. If you have any questions about that, just leave it in the comments. I will respond to you, I promise. So we're gonna get right into this. I actually had filmed this already last week and it ended up being like an hour and a half long. I maybe showed a little bit more detail than I needed to. I don't know. So we're going to try to keep this, and I couldn't use the video because I went to look at it and see what I could cut from it and make it smaller, and I hadn't had my lights on, so you couldn't even see anything. So anyways, we're going to see if we can make this a lot shorter today. So you have your paper. This is, can you see the texture? This is the damask or like the scrolly kind. And you've got the tree. Now I've got one side Mod Podged on here because I want to show this to you guys step by step. But when you get it, I'm giving you a little bit more than you need because I just want to make sure that you've got the right amount. This is probably more than what you would get. So there's 2 ways to do this. You could trace this out. If you do that, cut inside of your lines. So you could cut inside of your pencil lines with scissors. Or what I am going to do, because I've got a self-healing mat under me, I'm going to line that all back up and I'm going to take a razor knife and I am going to cut along there. Now, the other thing is when you do this, as much as we try to make everything as perfect as possible, if I was then to cut the other paper out, they might not fit the same on each side. Did that make sense? So just, I mean, this one, no, this one wouldn't. So make sure you label them like, you know, this one goes for this side and when this one's cut, it goes to that side. Does that make sense? Just so you're not wondering why you messed up. You didn't. It's just that, you know, we're hand cutting everything. So things are not always 100% perfect, right? Okay, Mod Podge. I am just gonna pour a little bit onto my wax paper here. And I'm gonna Mod Podge both the paper and the tree. Just helps it to stick a little bit better. I'm gonna be quite generous with it, but also remember, I've got a lot of water in my brush. That's why it's kind of going all over the place there. I actually find that the Mod Podge is easier to apply and works just as good for this technique if I add a little bit of water. Coat everything. Make sure those corners are like extra coated. If it drips over the side a little bit, that's okay. You don't need to worry about that. Okay, so get that on. And then I just kind of, you're gonna squish down, like push down as hard as you can. You're gonna get a little Mod Podge coming out the edges. Just wipe it off because you don't want to have to try to sand that off later. That would not be fun. Just gonna wipe my hands here. Make sure that if you want, you could use like a lint-free cloth too to make sure that the sides are all good. If you need to double check your corners, make sure that they are down good. If you need to lift up, apply a little bit more Mod Podge on your corners, but guys, we got that really good. Okay, so just wiping the extra off. I'm gonna set this guy aside to dry. And when I set them aside to dry, I turn them upside down so that there's a little bit more pressure on there to hold that down. Okay, I'm gonna get the Mod Podge bucket and sheet out of the way. Actually, I have some extra here and I don't want to waste it, so I'm gonna just put it back into my jar. go through a lot of Mod Podge, so if I can save, I'm going to save. Okay, that is out of the way. Clean up any other mess I have here. So I always have wax paper down if I'm doing crafts like this because it's just such an easy cleanup. And plus, if you need to dry things, if you dry them on wax paper, they don't stick. So, okay. So the next thing that we're going to do now that that is drying is, I've got one here already. I know, I want to show you this technique. I think I can do it. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry guys. I knew I needed to have one more tree ready and I didn't. So we're gonna just use this one. We just Mod Podge that side. This side is ready and waiting for us. Okay, I'm using Rustoleum chalked paint in Country Gray. And you could use acrylics. You don't have to use chalk paint. This is just what I'm using. I like the colors. It works good for me. Okay. So, look, that has a lot of brown in it. Maybe I used this one. Yep, that looks more like the brush I used. Okay, so we're just gonna put a pretty good coat on here, but we're gonna let some of the wallpaper shine through. So, this is like an old crunchy brush, so it might leave some undesired strokes in there, but that's okay. We're not gonna see them. And that's it. Like that's all I'm doing. Not painting the sides yet, but we're going to come back to this gray. So I'm just going to leave it here because we're going to need it. But do you see how I left some white showing through there? You want to do that. Okay, now this guy can go to the side. Okay, this one is ready. So this is painted with gray and there is white left through. What a person needs to do now is, just in case your cutting wasn't perfect, this is the time to trim off any extra paper that is hanging over the edges. So an X-Acto knife or razor knife works the best for this. It needs to be pretty sharp. Mine needs the blade changed. It's kind of dull. Okay. If it's a smidgen of unevenness, that's okay. We're going to get that in the sanding step, which is next. So I just have these sanding blocks. Like I picked them up at Home Depot. And then they've got like anywhere from like your coarse grits to your finer grits. And we're gonna sand this side. Oops, that's the stuff I just cut off. Nah, we'll get that. Okay, chalk paint when you sand tends to go everywhere. So you might wanna have like a garbage can or something to collect it. So I'm just gonna do it on the side so it doesn't go all over my table. But what you want to do is make sure you are sanding towards that tip. Don't come away from that tip because you don't want to lift that paper. And then on your sides, I just kind of go off of them back and forth on the sides as long as I'm not hitting that tip. And the same with these corners too, but your tip is the most delicate. Okay, and then we are going to go across on the surface. Okay. So hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And let's see. Okay, all of that is nicely sanded now. I've just got a piece from the other side I can see, and I'm just gonna nice and lightly go over the surface. And as long as when I get to that tip, I'm still going towards it, you can go whatever direction you want on the surface. Okay, so you get a nicely sanded surface. So you can see the difference. This is, that sanded too. This is still wet, but just want you to be able to see the difference between how they look. So what we're doing by sanding is where we covered up all this texture with the gray, the light sanding of it now helps to reveal that texture. So you could actually leave it like this. This one, what did look like this, and then I just put a glaze over top of it, and I'm going to share that. I'm going to show you that technique when we do these ones, because these two trees have a slight different technique to them. Okay, so next we are using the chalked linen white. Again, you can use acrylic. It does not have to be, I think I'm going to use that sponge. It doesn't have to be chalk paint. Now I'm getting to the bottom of my barrel here, but I'm going to dip in there, and I've got another piece of wax paper here with all my colors on it. So I'm just going to sponge off. I'm just using a sea sponge. I wet my sea sponge and squeeze it out, and then it's just been sitting here waiting for me. And so it's a little dry, but it's still, it's not like a hard dry, right? You don't want it sopping wet either. So a lot of times you can just dip it in the water and squeeze it out really good. Maybe squeeze it into a lint-free paper towel and it'll be good. Okay, we're just stippling this on here. It's quick, it's easy. You are not covering everything up. It's just a pouncing technique. It's really, really easy. So that's what we look like now. Okay, so we did look like that, and we've stippled enough on there that that's what we look like now. Okay. At the same time, I'm going to take a brush, just blotting it out a wee bit and dipping into my paint, and I am going to just quick paint the edges of my tree. Let's see. Just looking to see if I had one to demonstrate how the other steps on the edges. Well, wait, this one will be dry. Now, I am not covering them all the way, so you can see that there is still some of that wood showing through. That is a-okay. That's what gives it some of the dimension and texture. I always do the bottoms of everything, so the bottom got a little coat. And now this side is getting a little coat. And I'm, for the most part, just going down the side of the tree. I mean, you can do this, but then I would even your brush marks out. Okay, and that is done. If you get any on the top, you might want to just make sure that there's no ridges. Okay, that can sit down and dry. All right, and then that sponge, we are going to use it again. If it was going to be a long time, I would put it in the water, but we're actually going to use it again here right away. So let's see, just trying to make enough room for all of this. Okay, so that is drying, but I have one all ready for you guys. Let's move that white paint. So this guy is what, he's all stippled. Nothing else has been done. He's exactly what we just did and set aside, okay? So the next step on him is a very light sanding. So I like to do the same thing, like go off the tip. I'm going to do my edges again, but they don't need as much. And then I'm going to go over my surface again. Now, sorry, I shouldn't talk and sound at the same time. You might be thinking, oh, well, why do you need to do that? Now you see, it raises the print again, but you want to be careful that we're not like sanding so much that we're taking our raised print away. And at the same time, not going to do it on this one, but you would just lightly sand the edges that you had painted too, okay? We will get back to those edges as soon as that one is dry. Right now I want to show you how I get this pretty metallic-y look on there. And guys, these are just the colors I'm using. You get to choose whatever colors you want. So the colors that I have here, oh, and I should actually mention this too. So at this stage, I would, while I'm waiting for something to dry when I'm doing this, I would also paint my base and my tag, whatever color you want. I use this Rustoleum metallic accents. It's just, it's so pretty. I mean, look at that tag. It's so pretty. And the base is the same color. So, and I am using it for a tiny, tiny little hint of brown in my tree. You'll notice this guy, he doesn't have it in there. I didn't use him. It's just, he's all, I don't even know how well you can see it. There, you might be able to see that. This is just Champagne gold and a smidgen of brushed bronze. So I'm going to show you all of this, okay? The other tree has Champagne gold, brushed bronze, this metallic, this Rustoleum metallic, and a little bit of 14 karat gold. So my Champagne gold is deco art. I'm going to put all of this in the description for you guys, so you don't have to worry about that. The brushed bronze is folk art, and then the 14 karat gold is ceramic coat. Like, I don't know why I can't have them all the same, but these are just the colors that I like. And then of course, this doesn't have a name, but it is a Rustoleum metallic accents. I don't know if you can get it in smaller containers, but I did buy it at Home Depot. I have no idea if it comes in smaller containers or not. Okay, we're starting with the Champagne gold, and I'm just squirting. I'm gonna move this closer so you guys can see. Squirting it on my waxed paper here. And then this is the brushed bronze, and you don't need very much of them. You do want a brush that, just a little flat brush. I'm using a really old angle brush that I don't float with anymore. I want to water this down, and I don't want this whole sheet, but I like lint-free paper towel, and I'm just going to spray this with with water. So just a little bit of water. Okay, so I've watered down my Champagne gold, and I'm just gonna start randomly placing it on my tree. Hopefully, yeah, you guys can see that. Okay. So what I'm not doing is blop here, blop here, blop here kind of thing. Not doing that. I'm connecting them. So if it did blop, 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 then you're gonna go, that's great terms, hey? You're gonna go back over it and connect all of it together. Does that make sense? I'm gonna hold this up and show you. So even when I'm putting it in this corner, I'm just gonna lightly, and I'm just using like a crisscross, and I'm just gonna lightly get it over to the next little bit of color there that I've laid down. So first layer, look how that glistens, so pretty. Okay, gonna mix into my brushed bronze now, and I don't want it just straight brushed bronze. I'm still going into my Champagne gold. Now I'm going less, and again, kind of connecting it still, right? I don't want it to just be blobbies all over. Now, if you feel like you've got too much, wet paper towel. This is why it's important that it's lint-free. Shop towel, I guess it's not really, it's not called paper towel, but you can just go over it. You can dab it if you get too much, or just rub it if you need to soften your edges a smidge. If you want to let it, if you really like your metallics a lot and you want more of that brushed bronze, and you want to let it sit into the creases, you can do that. You just want to make sure you're not leaving harsh edges. Okay. Now, you see where it might look, there we go, where it might look like we've got big holes of white. We can fix that. Does it look like we've got maybe too much metallic in some places? We're gonna fix that too. So first of all, what I'm gonna do is where we thought that maybe it was too stripey, let's just brush it down into here. And don't worry, if you cover up too much white, we're gonna fix that. And then let's just, maybe we won't go as strong with the color, but it just gets rid of some harsh lines. Okay, you can still see a little bit of harsh line right here, so let's just soften that. Okay, now you need to dry this, and I'm just gonna dry it really quick, so I'm sorry for the noise it's gonna cause here. It's not too terribly loud. So it doesn't take that long for it to dry at all, but I don't have another one with the glaze on it ready, so we need this one dried. And how are we doing? We're only 26 minutes into the video, so that's way better than the last one. So we're almost done actually. My hair is on there. There we go. Okay. So that should be good. Even if it's not 100%, which it's not 100% up there, it's still good. So I'm going to take, oh my goodness, a teeny bit of, I should probably give it a shake here. Like we need the tiniest little bit of this metallic. Okay, so I can put the lid back on it because I'm going to show you the bases for those trees. That's pretty straightforward to base coat a tree. So we're, for the most part, done with this. Okay, let's get it out of the way. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that. I'm going to just put a little bit more water into my metallic accents there, that Rustoleum, that nice deep chocolate. And you have to do this very, very lightly. You need water, and you will need your lint-free towel this time because I'm just rubbing back my edges. And if I get too much of it on, I can rub it back again too. Now I'm not connecting this one so much like I did the last one, and I might leave it a little heavier in corners. And we can always go back in and make it a little heavier later because we're going to come back in here with another white stipple. One that will help if you've got too much on here, so it'll help to tone it down, but also that's what helps give all this dimension. And then after that last white stipple, we're going to go in again with our metallics and just ever so slightly add it on in some places. And this brown is really nice too if you let it kind of sit down into those crevices as well. So let's see here. Okay, might be a little bit too heavy there. Okay, see how that is there? Okay, so next is, oh, sorry, we need white. Oh, that white dries really fast. Well, it's chalk paint does dry pretty fast, but it's also pretty warm down where I am. Okay, a little bit of white and just ever so slightly going over this like really, really lightly. And this just really helps give dimension, like I say. But then if you got too much brown on some places and you don't want it there, then you can just go a little heavier in that spot. You could let this dry and then give it a sanding if you wanted to. I just want to look and see if I need to put it anywhere else. But I don't think I would sand again at this point, because you would possibly get rid of all of your texture on there. So now you can kind of see how it just softened all that metallic, hey? But it still just shimmers. It's so pretty. Okay. Oh, and I know you can see that the edges are done on this, but as soon as that guy is dry, before we move on to those trees, I'm going to show you how I did those. So at this point, this is where I would go back in. I'm going to add in my 14 karat gold, and I'm done with the sponge, so I'm sticking it in my water. And I'm very light with this 14 karat gold because I really like Champaign gold more, but the 14 karat gold just adds another dimension to it. But it's ever so lightly, like I'm barely touching the surface here, and it is mixed with my Champaign gold. You do whatever you like for colors and how you decorate. Like I decorate with a lot of golds and whoops, I went into the brown there, not thinking. I decorate with a lot of golds and coppers and navies, and starting to introduce more of that bronzy, that dark brown. That's why I really like these tags. So that is why I introduced. Now I'm actually introduced this dark color. I'm going to take a little bit more of that dark color and just laying it in my corners, kind of give it that aged look. And then I'm just pouncing it off the top textured parts. And I want a little bit maybe on the top corner, maybe hit the sides a little bit, or anywhere else where I might have put too much white over top. Don't make it the same on each side. Like if I put a little here, then go down down a little ways, but pretty sure that that guy is done. And if I had decided, oh, I still got too much metallic on there and I didn't quite like it, then stipple some white back over it. If you want more gray in there, stipple some gray back over it. Like really, the possibilities are endless. It's what you like. I'm just putting a little bit more Champaign gold in there. The Champaign gold is my absolute favorite. And the Champaign gold, oh, it just glistens. Okay, so that's it for that tree. It's done. So I'm going to just set that tree aside to dry. This was the tree that we stippled before we got to all the metallics on there. So I want to show you how I do the sides of this. So it's dry. So when I was sanding this, the stipples on the top is when I would actually sand this too. So just sand the sides the edges like we've done before, and then it's just really simple. And if I want more wood, I just sand harder. But I know it's that chalk paint, it goes everywhere. Like my carpet is white right underneath me here. Okay. Then when I'm doing my metallics, oh, wait, I just about missed a step. What brush had the gray in it? Well, we'll use this one, doesn't matter. Little bit of that country gray. I can never remember the names of this stuff. And I'm just straight lines. No rhyme, no reason. It can be as thick or as heavy as you need it to be. I'm going to do the bottom just because, well, I always do the bottoms. And then maybe I can get this a little closer to you guys. I might not be able to paint it as easily like this, but you see, I'm just using the edge of the brush and up and down. You can go like that too, but it's more of a dry brushing technique, so there's not a lot of water in there. Okay, then when you are, sorry, somebody's listening to a video upstairs, so I hope you guys can't hear that. Okay, so I'm going to dip into my metallics, and I am just going to very lightly kind of kissing the surface. See, my goodness, sorry, I'm trying to make it there. You might be able to see that better. And if I decided I need a little bit more there, I do. And if I put too much on, just put some white on and start the process all over again. You can even hit this with the sander one more time, but I kind of like just this effect that we've got going on here. That's the other side. So just adds a little dimension and texture. So then that tree would be done, okay? We are going to tie the tag on and completely finish that set of trees before we move on to the other ones. I need to get rid of this paint palette. Okay. Okay. Just clean my surface, make sure that I'm going to turn my wax paper upside down just in case. Okay. So let's just pull this guy out. And his base isn't glued on either yet. So oh wait, put him to the side. We have to finish the tag first. So he's painted again with that Rustoleum metal accents. I just did one coat and then I just slightly sanded the edges. You don't have to do that. I just did. I don't actually think I did on that one. I might have. Okay, so you're gonna get a word with your tag, and what you need to do if you haven't used a vinyl transfer yet, I lost my little squeegee thing, so I'm using my great big one for silk screening. Just make sure that it is adhered on there really good. So I squeegee the front and the back, and then I actually find it the easiest to lift from the back off, just in case any little letters want to come off with it, but it shouldn't. It should just be fine. So now my word is on my transfer tape. I know this isn't backwards, everything else is backwards, but this is the back of the transfer tape. And then if you want it straight, but I did it on an angle, and then you can like burnish it down with your finger, but using this is best. And then see, I didn't get that part enough, so let's maybe try this corner. Sometimes you have to help it go to, it works better if you start on the thicker pieces. Just need to burnish it down a little bit more. There we go. Oh, it is really fighting me. It doesn't normally fight like that. It does help a lot if you angle your paper. Okay, holding, sometimes you just have to hold your letter down a little bit just to get things going. This, well, it's good that I'm struggling with it so you guys can see that sometimes that happens. All the other ones did not give me this issue. You know, maybe I didn't sand the surface of this tag very much. That could be it. Maybe it's just not wanting to stick very well to my paint. I'm not entirely sure, but you just have to be patient with it. Go slow if you have this problem, and it will get there. Okay. There we go. And then I'm just about there. Like once it's on there, it's on there. It's not going anywhere. It's just for whatever reason, it wanted to be hard to get off of there. Okay. Alrighty, so we have our tag. I need to turn the hot glue gun on. I just about forgot. So that we can get this guy done start to finish. I'm using yarn again because I want this set to all be the same, but in your kits you would get a piece of jute. All right. Now you could use ribbon with this too. You could make a cute little bow with your color ribbon that you are decorating with. So you match your Christmas decor. Okay, I'm just gonna wrap it around and no rhyme, no reason to it. I just like it to cross over in the front a couple times is all. So I'm just gonna tie the knot and then I'll show you. Okay, so I've got it wrapped a couple times. I know you still can't see that, but I'm just wanting to get this knot tied off. And then I will show you. Maybe someday I'll have like overhead cameras, but right now it's not an option. Okay, so he's all tied on. You see he's just crisscrossed a couple times. So then he just kind of looks like that in the back. You can tie it on however you would like. And then let's just get our little tag on there. So tag goes on. And then I'm going to tie this again. And then a little bow. And if you don't want the bow, you don't have to do the bow, but I like this yarn. To me, it's just, I don't know. I like the fuzziness of it. It just reminds me of Christmas. My bow wants to be like that. Sometimes you can't fight them. You just gotta let them go the way they want to go. Okay, so my tag is on. And if you want it to hang a certain way, you could like hot glue it in place. I'm not cutting my tails off my bow yet. I'm going to put the greenery on first. Really hope my hot glue gun is ready to go here for us because I'm ready. So you're gonna get some kind of variation of greenery. Some of the greenery that I'm using to send you guys has little red balls on. So if you, I don't even know if you can see that. So if you happen to get some of this, you can pick the red berries off. These, they come off super easy on this stuff. Or if you like the red berries, just use them. So I have to turn this sideways because it's so far away from me. And I'm gonna use maybe like 2 pieces. And where's my little finger thing here? Okay, because the hot glue, well, we all know hot glue is really hot, and this stuff is super hot. And I'm not gonna put the hot glue on my piece. I'm gonna take my I got way too much on that. That's exactly why I do this. It's just because it's super hot. I take the piece, the greenery to it. I'm just gonna spread it out so that I don't get big globs, and then I got a big glob. Okay, and then, so I don't burn myself. Okay. I've got these little gold berries. So you may get some gold berries in your kit. You may get white berries or silver berries. There's even a matte gold. I've got a whole bunch of different ones, and so you're gonna get a bunch of whatever I have. I'm sorry, I don't have enough of this stuff, and when I started making these, this is I used stuff from years ago, but then everybody has their own decor, and so you can do many different things. Like I've even found these at Canadian Tire. You could cut these cute little pine cones off and like hang that on there. Like you could do so many things. I even found some frosted pine cones, little teeny guys. You could do the exact same thing with that, and you could just hang it on there. I'll show you better close up on this guy. But I just wanted to show you that actually I'm going to put it on this one so you can see. So you can see the berries, you can see the pine cone. You can do whatever you want. And the sky's the limit. But I just didn't have enough of all of this. I don't think that I have enough. And this is like from years past. I know I said that already, but okay. So, like, isn't that cute with the little pine cone on there? Just gives it a whole new look now. So I'm gonna just trim my little tails here. I like to trim my tails last because whatever embellishment that I put on kind of dictates how your bow is gonna hang. Oh, so, okay. I'm gonna go grab this other one over here so you can see what I mean. So let me put that one closer to you. Oh, all the fuzz from that. And then I'm just gonna hop up and grab this other one. Okay, so this tree here, he doesn't have as much of the brown on, or actually any of the brown on except for his tag. But his little tails are hanging off the side because when I put the berries and that on, I liked them going that way. Do you see the difference? So things can be however you want them to be. Just gonna put that guy on the, actually put him away. Okay, so goodness, we're like up to 48 minutes. So I need to get showing you guys the next one. The next one is so quick. It does not take very much time at all. All right. Okay. So, here he is. So he's Mod Podged on. This is the burlap, so I've cut to size, Mod Podged him on. I then gave him a very sparse coat of white on both sides. You don't have to do that. However, doing it does add an extra layer for some dimension and texture. But the other thing is that if I got my glaze on too thick, I then have the ability to wipe it off easier so it doesn't soak into the wallpaper. I mean, it is paintable wallpaper, but it's still porous, so it's not going to wipe off that easily for you. Okay, so 2 things is all we used on these. Really quick and easy. Rustoleum chalked glaze. I've got an aged glaze, which is the brown, and a smoked glaze, which is the gray. And I know when you take the lid off, it looks really blue and it can kind of freak you out, but it's all good. It's all good. So just give them a little shake and just want them out of the way. I want you to be able to see the lids. because I'm just gonna dab into the lids, and these can be messy. So if you don't like to get paint in that on your hands, you might want to wear rubber gloves. Okay, I've just got some shop towels, lint-free, anything lint-free. So I'm gonna show you the big, tall brown guy. So just brown. I'm gonna show you him first. Okay, so I'm gonna dip into it. I'm just gonna blot it off on my wax paper here. And I'm just gonna start rubbing. Like, it doesn't even matter what direction you go, just rubbing it on. And now he's got a really cool texture on him. And if you like it subtle like that, you can stop there. But if you want a little bit more, let's just load up. And this time I didn't dab off as much, and I'm gonna put it on a little thicker around the edges and hit or miss on the inside. You see that? Yeah, you can see that better. And if you still want your edges a little darker, then get a little bit more of that glaze on and make them darker. You can see how much darker that is. Okay, at the same time, because this stuff does dry really, really quick, rub your edges with it. Okay, that's all I'm doing. Might have put it on a little heavier on the bottom, but that's okay. And a little bit more for this side. Okay, so then, like that guy, he's done. He's done. He's so quick and easy. I'm gonna flip over and do the other side, but we're starting, oh, actually, while you're at that stage, when you've painted the edges with the white, paint the base with the white, and paint a tag that you're gonna get with the white. I'm not showing another tag because these all have tags on them, but it is just, sorry, let me say that to you again. Paint the base white, you can glaze the tag. I will show you how to glaze the tag. So this is just one coat of the chalked. I'm gonna quick sand it. And I'm just giving it like a sanding all over the corners. I want it to look a little worn. The edges, whoops, I just dropped that. Another one. Make sure you're getting the corners. Gives it kind of that worn look then. See how those are really simple and easy to do. And then we need a teensy bit more of this brown. Just rub it on. And I know, like, you can rub it all over in whatever way you want, but I always go back over it and make sure that my strokes are all going the same way. And I do get fingerprints in it, but what I do is I hold on to the top, make sure all my edges are good, set it down, and make sure that it's all good. It's almost dry. Same with the tag. Just get it soaks it up really easy, the tag. So you could paint the tag white first before you put the glaze on it. You don't have to. So I'm just actually trying to think if I painted those white first. You know what? I may have painted those tags white. I think I just actually, because this looks slightly different, but that's okay. This still looks great, and it's gonna look good on that tag, but yeah, I did do it slightly different. Okay, and like that is basically dry because the wood just sucks it right up. So just set that down. Just gonna clean my fingers off here. And always have baby wipes beside me because I get so dirty. Okay, Pushing an hour, guys. I'm so sorry. Hopefully you're still with me. All right. The same technique as we just finished doing is the smoked glaze. So I dipped that right into the jar instead of using the lid, but we're just gonna dab it off. Really light touch for the first coat. Okay. Little fuzzy. You see the first coat? Really light touch. Then I'm going to actually dip into my brown, and I'm going to kind of hit like maybe my corners a bit, and then just randomly hit here and there, and it just starts to give it more dimension. I'm going to go back into my smoked glaze, and now I'm going to more heavily hit my corners over top of that brown, hit my edges maybe a wee bit more. Okay, see, and then it's pretty much it. And if you got too much on there, let it dry, hit it with your white paint, and go over it again. With the smoked glaze, I'm just going to rub the sides a wee bit. Okay, that guy is done. And so that's the front with the gray and the brown, and that is the back with just the brown. So the base is basically dry. That's what it looks like with the glaze. And I'm just gonna take that smoked glaze over top and give it some light touches. And it just kind of darkens it up, gives it more of an aged look. And I did do the same on the corners. I sanded those corners with the sandpaper, and then I did this, but I'm thinking because this guy, I didn't put the white on. There must have been another one here I didn't put the white on. But anyhow, then I brushed over him, and it gives him more of an aged look. And then, you can't see that. I don't know why I tried to do that, because you just can't see it. But it's just a little darker, and then with a word on there. Or, yeah, there is white underneath of this one, guys. And then it's just glazed exactly the way the base is. So that's the problem. I don't always do the same thing twice. So sometimes you mix it up, and then it becomes even better. Okay, so that's it, you guys. There'll be a blog post that you can go to see more information on, well, I'll give you the list in the description here, but the blog post will also have it, and it'll have a couple of photos with it as well, some more close-up photos for you. And you're gonna get a full set of instructions with the kits as well. And if you've got your own woodcutter, get him to cut them for you too. Like, you don't have to get kits from me. I just want you to know that they're offered, so you're not looking everywhere for the stuff. I bundle it all together for you. So anyways, thanks for hanging out with me. We are coming up on our hour, and so I am going to get cleaned up and finish up these trees. So we will see you next time. Bye.